Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into the secret lives of some of the most powerful, and I mean really reactive, elements on the entire periodic table, the S-block elements. So, to get us started, I've got a bit of a riddle for you. What on earth could possibly connect the salt you sprinkle on your food, the incredible colors of a fireworks show, and the very bones that make up your skeleton? I know, it sounds totally random, but believe it or not, there is a fascinating chemical thread that ties all of them together. And the answer isn't some complex puzzle. It's actually hidden in plain sight, right there on the periodic table, inside a very special, very energetic family of elements. That's the key. Every single one of those things, the salts, the fireworks, your bones, they're all made possible by members of what we call the S-block. You can think of these elements as the restless live wires of the chemical world. They are always looking for some action. So what is it that gives them this restless personality? Well, the secret isn't buried deep in their core. Nope, it's all happening on the surface. It all comes down to their electrons, and specifically, the ones on the very outside. Okay, so here's the slightly more technical breakdown. S-block elements are defined by where their very last highest energy electron is hanging out. For these guys, it's in a place called the s orbital, which you can basically just think of as the outermost layer of the atom. It's their chemical frontier, you know? Now, the S-block is split into two main cliques. You've got group 1. And these elements have just one lonely little electron in that outer shell, and they are absolutely desperate to get rid of it. Then you have group 2. They have 2 outer electrons, and they are just as eager to give both of them away. And that's really the whole story right there. Their entire chemical identity, all of their explosive reactions, all of their super important functions, it all boils down to having just 1 or 2 electrons that they just can't wait to hand off to someone else. It's pretty much that simple. So this intense desire to give away electrons is exactly what makes them so incredibly reactive. But why? Why are they so generous? Well, it's all about finding stability. It's about getting to a chemical happy place. Let me put it this way. For an atom, having a full outer shell of electrons is like completing a collection. It makes them stable and content. So for the S-block elements, instead of trying to go out and find and steal 7 more electrons to fill up their shell, it's just way easier to give away the 1 or 2 they already have. That exposes the next shell down, which is already full and stable. Problem solved. You know, in chemistry, we actually have a name for the price of giving away an electron. It's called ionization energy. It's the tiny bit of energy you have to pay to pluck off that outermost electron. And for the S-block elements, that price is the absolute lowest on the entire periodic table. They practically pay other elements to take their electrons off their hands. And there's another really cool trend to notice here. If you look as we go down group 1, from lithium to sodium to potassium, you can see the atoms themselves are actually getting bigger. Their atomic radius is increasing. So why does that matter? Well, think about it. The bigger the atom gets, the farther away that lonely outer electron is from the nucleus in the center that's supposed to be holding it in place. The pull gets weaker, and that means these bigger atoms hold onto their electrons much more loosely, which makes them even easier to give away and, you guessed it, even more reactive. All right, so we've established we have these 2 related but slightly different families inside the S-block. So let's properly meet them and compare their chemical personalities. Okay, first up, we have the alkali metals in group 1. They've got that 1 electron to lose, so they form a positive 1 ion, and their reactivity is just off the charts. They're like the hyperreactive older sibling. Then you've got the alkaline earth metals in group 2. They need to lose 2 electrons, which takes a little more effort, so they're still very reactive for sure, but just a little less intense, kind of like the slightly more stable younger sibling. Okay, enough theory. This stuff isn't just in a textbook, right? These elements are literally everywhere, hiding in plain sight, and they are fundamentally shaping the world all around us. So let's bring it all back to that first question I asked. That lithium powering your smartphone battery right now? That's an S-block element. The sodium that allows your nerves to fire and send signals through your body? S-block. The magnesium that burns so brightly in emergency flares? Yup. Calcium building not just our bones, but our buildings too? And even the strontium that creates those brilliant red fireworks? All S-block elements, putting that incredible reactivity to amazing use.
when you get right down to it, their eagerness to give up electrons isn't just some random chemical quirk. It's a fundamental property that we have learned to harness to build our world, from our own biology to our most advanced technology. They are absolutely essential.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big thought. We know these elements are practically begging to give their energy away in the form of electrons. So as we look to the future, to new technologies and new materials, the question really is, where else could we put that incredible natural power to work?